Welcome to the magical world of Disneyland Paris, where every attraction tells a story. But have you ever wondered what happens behind the scenes? Today, we're taking you on an exclusive journey into one of the park's most iconic and beloved attractions, It's a Small World. From its intricate animatronics to the mesmerizing music that brings cultures together, we'll uncover the secrets that make this ride a timeless classic. So sit back, relax, and get ready for a behind-the-scenes look at the magic of It's a Small World like you've never seen before. The story behind the popular It's a Small World Fantasyland attraction started with the 1964 to 1965 New York World's Fair. Walt Disney Imagineering was set to work on 3 pavilions. Thanks to these 3 pavilions, new technology was produced and is still used nowadays. Take, for instance, the technique for vehicles in perpetual motion, now used in the famous Doom buggies of Phantom Manor. This technology dates back to the 60s, has since been improved upon, and can even be found in recent attractions such as Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast. Another technology developed for the World's Fair and used in Pirates of the Caribbean is the human audio animatronics characters. And if these 3 pavilions weren't enough, less than a year before the World's Fair opening, Walt Disney took on a 4th pavilion in order to raise money for UNICEF. The decision was made to create a story featuring children from across the world. As time was of the essence, the sets were made to look like children's cutout drawings. That is why they are 2-dimensional in all the scenes. Taking inspiration from a section in the 3 Caballeros from 1944, children were depicted as dolls that all had the same face, but differed in their intricately made costumes and hairstyles, which paid tribute to their various countries of origin. In the original concept, each doll was to sing its own national anthem. It was mayhem. Walt decided to go back to the studio and asked his composers to come up with something new. You already know who we're talking about: brothers Richard and Robert Sherman. Remember, we talked about them a while back. The most obvious Disney reference: Richard and Robert Sherman, composers behind favorite Disney classics like Mary Poppins, 1964, Jungle Book, 1967, and It's a Small World. Walt's instructions were simple. The song must be easily memorized. I think we can all agree that mission accomplished. The song was so popular that they got scared people would stop in front of each scene. They therefore had to think of a way to get visitors to go from one to the next without realizing it. This is where the idea for boats came from. They drew inspiration from an attraction that was already at Disneyland, Storybook Land canal boats. This attraction was also used as inspiration for Le Pays des Contes de Fées at Disneyland Paris. Also, the use of singing audio animatronics characters in boats later went on to be part of the concept for Pirates of the Caribbean, which opened in 1967. It's a Small World was such a success that at the end of the World's Fair, the content of the pavilion was taken to Disneyland in California to become the attraction we now all know. The attraction is present under the name of It's a Small World in California, Florida, Tokyo, Hong Kong, and of course at Disneyland Paris. One of the specificities of the Disneyland Paris version is that the Disneyland railroad tracks travel through its facade, which is more than 270 meters wide. Even if cast members wear gondolier costumes, they should be considered more as ambassadors who enable visitors to go back to childhood aboard the happiest cruise that ever sailed, just as Walt Disney had imagined. At the core of this experience are over 300 animatronic dolls, each representing different cultures from around the world. Every movement, every gesture is carefully programmed to sync with the iconic soundtrack, which plays in multiple languages as guests drift through the ride. During the years, the attraction has been closed several times for refurbishments and updates, like just now in January 2025. For the teams at Walt Disney Imagineering, Paris and Creative Costuming of Disneyland Paris, the aim is to recreate the gorgeous costumes that match the originals dating from 1992, the year Disneyland Park opened. Through these dazzling outfits, inspired by traditional folk and ethnic costumes, It's a Small World, the iconic attraction of Fantasyland, delivers a vibrant and heartfelt celebration of children from cultures across the globe. This intricate work began long before the costumes were actually made. To faithfully recreate these iconic outfits, the teams meticulously analyzed documentation from 1992, relying heavily on photographs to match the precise colors and materials, such as velvet, satin, cotton, and embroidery, used in the originals. While some of the fabrics could be taken from the originals, other fabrics had to be entirely recreated. 2 years of research and a year of dressmaking were needed to create the gold, pastel, and white costumes for the characters in the spectacular final scene, in which children from all over the world come together to sing. This intricate work began long before the costumes were actually made. To faithfully recreate these iconic outfits, the teams meticulously analyzed documentation from 1992, relying heavily on photographs to match the precise colors and materials, such as velvet, satin, cotton, and embroidery, used in the originals. While some of the fabrics could be taken from the originals, other fabrics had to be entirely recreated. 2 years of research and a year of dressmaking were needed to create the gold, pastel, and white costumes for the characters in the spectacular final scene, in which children from all over the world come together to sing. In all, no fewer than 60 items of clothing were created by a team of 13 dressmakers, wig makers, and milliners, with an average of 3 meters of fabric used per figure and 4 meters of wool per wig. Each stage of production, including the choice of fabric, the prototype, and the finished costume, is carefully inspected by the Imagineers to ensure not only the highest quality, but also the authenticity of the country they represent. Guests will be able to rediscover the final scene of the attraction looking just as spectacular as when it opened, explains Anne-Cécile Huron, stage finishing designer. The other major challenge for this refurbishment was to guarantee the durability of the costumes and wigs, since It's a Small World is open all year round, and the figures are constantly in motion, so the costumes had to be designed in collaboration with the maintenance teams to limit their impact on the mechanics. Creating these made-to-measure costumes, hats, and wigs by hand in the Disneyland Paris workshops requires real expertise in dressmaking and a thorough knowledge of the attraction. The work that began 2 years ago will continue long after the attraction reopens in February 2025, as the creative costuming teams aim to replace the costumes of the many characters in the attraction with the same precision and attention to detail for each one, while at the same time continuing their maintenance work on all the figures in the resort's other attractions. Keeping the magic alive requires constant care. Every night, a dedicated team of technicians and artists inspect the figures, ensuring that every doll moves flawlessly, every light shines brightly, and every note of the classic song fills the air just right. But have you ever thought about what keeps the boat smoothly gliding along? Hidden beneath the ride is an advanced water filtration and pumping system that ensures a seamless journey through the 7 continents, making sure guests experience the magic without a hitch. Whether you're stepping into this colorful world for the first time or reliving childhood memories, It's a Small World continues to remind us of a simple yet powerful message that despite our differences, we are all connected. And behind the scenes, a dedicated team works tirelessly to keep this magical experience alive for generations to come. Thank you for joining us on this behind-the-scenes journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more magical insights into the world of Disneyland Paris.